So, today I wanted to talk about Ariana Grande's third studio album, Dangerous Woman, which is my personal favorite album of Ariana Grande. This was just such a focal point in her career, and this is just a staple of what an album's supposed to be as far as versatility, cohesiveness, length, and just how this album just contributed to her overall image and her evolution as an artist in her career. Like, this was definitely like her good girl gone bad. Not necessarily like gone bad, but this is definitely like the focal point of her career where she matured when she went from the Nickelodeon star to the music pop star that she is today. And this is like the first step into just the right direction. And it was very beautiful to see. It was very organic too. She didn't have to do anything crazy or just outside of the box or go on this drug thing. Like, she did this very organically, and I just enjoyed it so much that it was done this beautifully. Just goes to show that, and not everyone has to, do something crazy, go on drugs or just completely just do a 180 on their personality. I just like this transition a lot better. This was, from Ariana Grande, Cat Valentine on Nickelodeon. This definitely put her away from all of that, which is what I like about this album. Well, there's a whole lot of things, but we're going to get into all of it. This album just presents so many, like, amazing sounds, and it just all comes together and just creates this cohesive piece of work that just, it just goes so well. Like, what I love so much about this album is that it isn't super poppy. Like, it has some R&B kind of blues vibes to it. And I think that prior to this album, I feel like Ariana Grande had her moments here and there where she did a nice little ballad and she calmed her voice down. But overall, her image was just very, very poppy. Like, with songs like Problems and stuff, which I liked, but it just felt oversaturated. It was just, high vocals and just very, very poppy. And over time, that just keep happening over and over again with, like, her very, very strong vocals. It just, like I just said, just very, very saturated. And I like that in this album. It was definitely calmed down. Not that I didn't like it, I just felt like it was just too much of it, and we didn't really get to see her grow. And I feel like in this album alone, there was just so much growth in this album as far as the substance and the content that she really gets into in this album. Not necessarily with the message that the album is giving, but musically, just the evolution musically, not necessarily the message in the music, because it didn't really give that overall compared to like an album like Thank You Next. But with songs like Moonlight, Dangerous Woman, and Leave Me Lonely and I Don't Care, like these really nice, mellow, taboo R&B records, they just set this amazing tone. Like, I love how Ariana Grande's like voice sounds on these records. Cause prior to her other albums, like I said before, it was just just very, very poppy, almost too poppy. And I feel like these R&B songs definitely do her voice a lot justice. Even though I feel like her voice definitely does cater to, poppy songs, but it's just a breath of fresh air to see her do so many different things, go down so many different avenues with her voice versus just, pop here and pop there. There were just different directions that this album was going into, and it just was amazing. It was all fitting. It was all just very cohesive, and it was versatile at the same time, and that's like what you want to do when you're doing an album. You want everything to kind of go together and align, but you don't want it to be identical to the point where it just feels like a copy paste each song. And this album just does it beautifully. You will not hear the same sound ever, but it all contributes to the bigger picture, which is Dangerous Woman. It's amazing. And the overall theme, I know that the original lead for Ariana Grande's like third studio album was Focus. And I liked Focus, but Focus was very it was what you were to expect of Ariana Grande. And I think that how the story went is that she heard the song Dangerous Woman and she scrapped her entire album and made an entire album focused around, the theme of a dangerous woman. And I think that was the best career path that she could have went down. Like this sound right here, it's still very much Ariana Grande. She definitely took it and made it her own, which I like. I like that she didn't just hear, whatever the original song was. I was like, yes. She definitely took it and she made it her own, and she definitely crafted this whole Dangerous Woman image as a way to kind of, separate herself from the Nickelodeon thing. Like, hey, this is me. I was, an actress on this show. I was working for these people, but now I'm my own artist. I am not, like a teen sensation. I'm going to be a pop icon. And that's what this album put her into, that discussion of like, I'm really doing this. I can really do this. Which brings me to her features, because I think that, with features like Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne, that definitely introduced her into a new path. It kind of was like, hold up now, she's not, like an actress that just singing. Like, she's an artist. Like, she's really doing this. Like Nicki said it herself, like, Ari's running pop, and she's doing it right now. She had the Nicki seal of approval, and I think in Lil Wayne's verse also, she said he said like goodbye to the good girl. This was her introduction. This is her evolving as an artist. Like that pretty goody two shoes girl, that's gone now. Like, I'm Ariana Grande. I'm a woman now. I'm not a little girl. I'm not that girl from the set of Victorious. Like, I am a woman, and all the songs on this album just definitely just help with that. Like, this album just took a very mature, very opposite of what she typically does. I feel like there was a taste of this maturity in her other albums, but we definitely got to see this that like taste, that like pinch of maturity, but like she took that and she made it into a full album, and I like that a lot. Now, back to what I said earlier about this being like the staple of like what an album's supposed to be. The features on this album do what features are supposed to do. Like, every artist that came on to this, like from Future to Nicki to Lil Wayne to Macy Gray. Macy Gray. All these features, when they came onto this album, they complemented their song. They added something to the song that the song needed. Had they not been on these songs, I feel like, I would have been like, this song was lacking. It needed something. And oftentimes with artists, I feel like when an album passes kind of like 50 minutes, this album was 56 minutes, I believe. I feel like once an album gets a little long, I kind of get tired of hearing that artist's voice, especially when they're not doing different things with their voice, which Ariana Grande was. But even though she was doing different things, she also contributed features that really, really complemented the song. Like, their voices were just, it was like they were made for the song. Especially my favorite feature off this album was Macy Gray's voice and Leave Me Lonely. Like, her smoky kind of voice, it was like she like made the song herself. Like, she definitely made that song. Just, that voice was just amazing. Like, that was definitely, Leave Me Lonely is definitely one of my favorite tracks off of the album. It was just, the way it was done it was beautiful. It was amazing. I enjoyed it so much. And then, of course, Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne, Young Money coming through. Nicki Minaj, we all know what she did with her verse. At the end, she's like, I'm the queen of rap and Ariana run pop. She was, introducing Ariana Grande to like this serious conversation. Like, this is, Ariana Grande is more than just, that actress, just moving her away from that little goody two shoes, Disney-esque, Nickelodeon. Like, I'm not Radio Disney no more. Like, I'm Ariana Grande. Like, I'm here to be taken like a serious artist. And these features definitely had a role to play with making her evolve. Like, with her evolving musically, she's also evolving with her features as well. And these features they were amazing. They contributed, their contribution just made the song just better. And I just can't stress that enough. There was just a good balance as well. There was a few features here and there. It wasn't like feature over here, feature over here, feature over here. And it's just like, and some of these songs didn't even feel like features. It felt like, they co-wrote the song. They just blended so well. It wasn't like, Ariana and this artist. It was just like, it felt like the artist blended into the song just so well. It was amazing. Like, if they were even in a studio together, I believe it. They probably weren't, but, that's just how well the collaboration was. They were just so in sync. They were, referencing each other in the songs and everything. It was amazing. Definitely. And it's just such a good thing to see, because they're just, especially recently, features nowadays, they're just like for marketing purposes, or this artist big, so let me put her or him on my song so that this song can be big as well. I'm so happy that I don't know. Because, there are certain artists you can just throw on anything and they'll just sound good on. But it just feel like nowadays features are just so forced. And I like that on this album. Well, I don't know. Certain times features can be forced and they still come out good. But, yeah, I don't know the situation with these features in specific. But these features definitely paid off. And these artists definitely complimented the song and they did their job. And that's what I appreciate so much about this. And my personal favorites from this album is... Child, I tried to narrow the list down, but this is damn near the whole album. Moonlight, of course. The way this album starts is just amazing. It's definitely true to Ari and her material that she talks about. Into You, of course. Leave Me Lonely. I Don't Care. Just the R&B vibes that you get from this album. That it's just a new direction in her voice. I remember first hearing this, because I got into Ariana Grande around the time. Well, seriously, I will always listen to her music, but I got into her seriously after just before Thank You Next came out, because I think as the singles were coming out, I always listen to her singles here and there. I never got into her albums, but as I was listening to the singles come out, Thank You Next, amazing song. Seven Rings, amazing song. Break Up With Your Boyfriend, and these videos, the visuals, the whole breakup with Pete Davidson and the Manchester bombing, all eyes were on Ari at that moment, so that really got me into Ariana Grande. But then as I finished the album, Thank You Next, amazing, doing an album reaction later on. But after that, I think I went to her other albums. I started listening to her loosely. I didn't get into any more bodies of work, but it was just a lot of just poppy. It was just saturated with just a lot of pop, high vocals, just lacked substance. So as I got into Dangerous Woman, what made me like this album so much is that it took a step away from that just super high poppy sound. I like this boy and this boy likes me, yada yada yada. It was more detailed. It was more substance to the boy and how the boy makes you feel, and I like that so much. I love that there was just more substance, there was more storytelling, there was more details being told about the interactions and how it makes you feel. And yeah, I'm just rambling at this moment, but this album is fantastic. And rating. So, with the features just being just the A1 features, the fantastic vocals, the versatility, the cohesiveness, and for this to be the turning point in her career, and it was just done so fabulously and organically, the substance, the length, I would give this album a 9.5. Just well deserved. Just definitely Ariana Grande's best album. I won't say by far, because Ariana Grande's albums have been pretty solid so far. And Thank You Next is definitely, it's close, but Dangerous Woman definitely takes this title. Just the consistency and just great music. I feel like Thank You Next has the consistency and good music, but there's a skip here and there. Makeup, cough, cough. But yeah. And that was my video. If you are into music and you're passionate as Ariana Grande just like I am, I definitely recommend you subscribe, because when her new album comes out, I'm going to be all over her singles and all of that. Subscribe, comment what your favorite song was from Ariana Grande or just this album. What's your thoughts about this album? And I am out.